This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good afternoon, students. Today class we are going to discuss about optimal generation allocation with neglecting losses. So already we derived the derivation based on that incremental cost. How we can calculate that cost of each unit in the power station. So in last class you guys did the one problem, right? So what is the suppose they will it has the 2 units and they given maximum demand, and what is the sharing of that maximum demand among the two loads? So the same thing here today also we are going to do one problem based on that derivative concept. So this is the topic we are going to discuss in today class. That is optimal generation of allocation with line losses neglected. So last class we derived on a equation. That is the equation means how we can after schedule if you want to schedule the load among the units, what we have to consider in cost point of view. The same thing here also. So this is the second method. What we did the last class problems, the same thing we can do the problem by using this method. So now we'll see that second model problem that we discussed in last class. See here, this is the problem 2. So what we did in last class, the same problem, but it has the only difference. There is not given any generating limits. See here, these 3 plants having that generating limits. So when actually we have to consider the generating limits. Why? Because every unit has that maximum value and minimum value. So no plant will generate that power maximum more than the maximum and less than the minimum. So it has some limits. Based on the conditions, it will generate in between this maximum minimum. So every generator should have to consist of these limits. Suppose this is the problem they given. It has the 3 units and each unit has the maximum capacity is 125, 100 and 200. So total is 435. So this is the maximum capacity of a 3 plants. If you want to schedule these 3 plants for generating of 300, that is the this is the maximum load demand on the 3 plants. So this is the maximum capacity. By using these 3 plants we have to generate that 300 megawatts. So our problem is which plant has to contribute among this 300. So that is our case, we have to find that. So what out of 300, how much of power generated by the PG1 and how much of power generated by the PG2 and how much of power generated by the PG3, this we have to find. And one more thing you have to remember that this value should be within the limits. It won't be exceeded and it won't be included. So this PG1 and PG2, PG3 value should be in the within the limits. Then only the values are correct. Now just note down these equations. This 1, 2, 3. So when the problem కనబడుతుందా స్క్రీన్ పైన? I have seen problems.
కనబడుతుంది సార్.
Alright. సో మీరు జస్ట్ నోట్ చేసుకోండి, ప్రాబ్లం నేను సాల్వ్ చేస్తాను.
సార్ ఆ వాల్యూస్ కూడా క్వశ్చన్ అయినా లేకపోతే
జస్ట్ ఈ 3 ఈక్వేషన్ రాసుకోండి. DC1 by dPG1 ఉంది కదా,
ఓకే సార్.
ఆ 3 ఈక్వేషన్ రాసుకోండి జస్ట్. సో జస్ట్ నోట్ డౌన్ దిస్ 3 ఈక్వేషన్స్ 1, 2, 3. This limits also. And here the power demand PD is 300. ఈ 4 ఈక్వేషన్స్ రాసుకోండి. So this is the total demand we have to generate the power. So after completion of note down, just tell me. We go for solving the problem. Have you all noted down this problem? Just 3 equations and this one.
Completed, sir.
All right. So I will show you that how to solve this equation, this problem. So the given power demand is equals to 300 megawatt, right? So it means that the 3 plants has to be generate 300 megawatts, and I can write this one PG1 plus PG2 plus PG3 equals to 300. Let's consider this equation 1. So in this problem, the given equation is in the form of lambda. So lambda, I already said lambda is equals to dC1 by dPE1, right? So they given value like this. So what is the notation of this lambda? Lambda name, what we call as lambda. Right. So from economical scheduling, so they given 3 equations, that is lambda 1, lambda 2, and lambda 3. So the equation 1 represents lambda 1, equation 2 represents lambda 2 and lambda 3. For economical scheduling, we have to equate all incremental cost, that is lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3. So already we did in the last class. Now, what is the equation of lambda 1? 30 plus 0.515 Pg1 equals to, what is the lambda 2 here? 40 plus 0.2 Pg2. Next, what is the lambda 3 here? 15 plus 0.18 Pg3. So this is equation number 2. So just equating that all equations, that is lambda 1, lambda 2 and lambda 3. 30 plus 0.15 Pg1 equals to 40 plus 0.2 Pg2 equals to 15 plus 0.18 Pg3. So let's consider this equation 2. So by solving the 2 equations, you will get equation 3. You will get equations in terms of Pg1, Pg2, Pg3 and constant. Just solve it. I will give 10 minutes time. Just solve it. I will tell you the answers. So this is a question we have to solve them. So let's consider it is lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3. So well, equating for economical scheduling, we have to equate lambda 1 equals to lambda 2 equals to lambda 3. So after that, you will get the equation 30 plus 0.15 Pg1 equals to 40 plus 0.2 Pg2 equals to 15 plus 0.18 Pg3. So let's consider this equation 1. Similarly, our total demand is 300 megawatts. So PD can be written as Pg1 plus Pg2 plus Pg3 equals to 300. That is second equation. By using these 2 equations, find the what is the value of Pg1 and Pg2, Pg3? Solve these two equations and find Pg1, Pg2, Pg3. See, after solving these equations, you will get Pg1 is 103.23 megawatt. Next, Pg2 is 27.42 megawatt. Pg3 is 169.35 megawatt. Now check these values are correct or not. How you can check? Pg1 is 103.23 megawatts, Pg2 is 27.42 megawatt, and Pg3 is 169.35. Whether the answers are correct or not.
ఆ మూడు దాలను ఆ ఫస్ట్ ఈక్వేషన్ లో సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేస్తే ఈక్వల్ టు 300 వస్తే కరెక్ట్ సార్, లేకపోతే తప్పు.
ఒకసారి యాడ్ చేయి 300 వస్తుంది చూడండి.
ఒక నిమిషం సార్, క్యాష్ కూడా లేదు నా దగ్గర.
So the first one is Sam. I am entering that values in chart box. Just see that. So that one is a Pg1 value. Pg2 value. PG3 value. So I already given the answers in chat box. Just check it. First one is 103.23. Second one is 27.42. Third one is 169.35.
ఈక్వల్ గా వచ్చింది సార్ ఫస్ట్ ఈక్వేషన్ లో సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేస్తే.
Right. Whether the answers are correct or not. I need that answer. Whether the value of PG1 and PG2, PG3 are correct answers or not. So you will get 300, no problem. But this is the scheduling of these three. So just check the limits. So your PG1 is 103.23, right? Wait. So the first value is 103.23. So just check the limits of plant 1. So the value is in between that 25 to 125. But we got the answer is 103 point something. So then it means that the generating limits within the maximum and minimum value. So this answer is correct. Next, check the second one. We got 27 point something, right? But here it is the less than minimum value. So it should not happen. We have the generating limits should be within the limits. But we got 27. It means that it is less than the minimum value. It means that its answer is not correct. Next, what is the third one? We got 169 point something. So this is the within the limits. In this condition, it means that if any value is exceeded its limits, what we have to consider means, so here the PG2 value is exceeded its limits, that is we got 27. At that time, what we have to consider means the PG2 value should be considered as a 300 megawatt, sorry 30 megawatt. So this is the way of calculating. Here after solving these three values, PG2 we got 27. But the limit should be within the 30 and 100. So we got that less than this 30 value. So what we have to do means we have to consider PG2 value as a 30. So PG2 is 30. So this is the we found this is the finalized value for the PG2. So this is the capacity. Now remaining 270 megawatts. How we can schedule that PG1 and PG2? See here from this equation, PG1 plus PG2 plus PG3 equals to 300. From this equation, what you will get? PG1 plus PG3 plus equals to 300 minus 30, that is 270. Let's consider it is equation 4. Now equating equation 1 and 2, 1 and 3. So what you will get if you equating 1 and 3? 30 plus 0.15 PG1 equals to 15 plus 0.18 PG3. So let's consider this equation number 6. If you solving these two equations, then you will get PG1 and PG3. So out of 270, we had to calculate these two, that is PG1 and PG2. Find that. So already you know one unit capacity, that is 30 megawatts. Remaining out of 270, what is the contribution of PG generating unit 1 and generating unit 3? Now I will give the answers in chat box. Just note on that. Check it after, sir. So here PG1 we got after solving the two equations 101.818 megawatt and PG2 is 30 megawatt. PG3 is 168.182. So this is the three values after solving the last two equations. Have you all got it? Venkatesh. So tell me the answers. Right, let me do so you can do afterwards. Let me go for second method. So these are the two model problems. Based on that, how we can load scheduling among the generating plants based on the load demand. So just keep remember this problem, very important. Definitely will get in external exams based on this problem. So already we did the two models of problems. One is without generating limits and second one is with generating limits. So what we have to consider in the second model means after finding that value, it should be in the within the limits. If it is exceeded its limit, suppose if the value is less than its minimum value, you have to consider that value as a limit minimum value. Suppose if the value is more than the maximum value, you have to consider that value as a maximum value. So that is the you have to consider in the second model when they are giving that generating limits. The same method you can do in different method. So that is the method 2, economic dispatching with neglecting losses and no generating limits. So this is the second model. Same we can do that problem in different way. If you see here, generally, if you want to economically dispatch, economically schedule that what is the maximum demand of a particular unit, there is only one way. You have to neglect the losses. Then only you can easily allocate that what is the scheduling among the all units in the plant. Now let's consider that. See here, I'm considering the number of unit in a plant, and this plant has to be delivered this power demand. Now I am considering that the number of plants with neglecting that transmission losses. And if you want to if you want to deliver the maximum demand, this maximum demand has to be scheduled among these plants. So you can write PD is equals to P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus and so on like that. So you have to consider like that. So how we can schedule this all units means based on the cost. That cost equation is given by here. So the cost function CA is assumed to be each plant is this one. So CT is equals to summation of I equals to 1 to N. So CA. So this is the CA formula. alpha A equals to, so this is the cost of each plant. So here I is nothing but a plant number, so that is unit number. If it is unit 1, then you can write alpha 1 plus beta 1 p1 plus gamma 1 p1 square. If it is unit 2, alpha 2 plus beta 2 p2 plus gamma 2 p2 square. So this is the second model. So already we did the previous problems. The same problems we can solve by using this method also. But when compared to previous method and this method is, here there we are considering the neglect, they are considering the losses. Here we are neglecting the losses. And there is a, in previous method there is a certain limits. So we can calculate only for three units. But here we can calculate for number of units. So that is the difference between previous method and this method. So just note down this cost equation, that is CT equals to summation of alpha I plus beta I PA plus gamma I PA square. So here I is nothing but a unit number. Suppose if it is unit 1, then you can go for P1. If you need unit 2, P2, like PN. So let me see how we can calculate that P1, that is, so I am considering here, sometimes I can consider P1 and sometimes I can consider PG1. So both are equal. So don't confuse that. So let me see that how we can calculate cost and what is the scheduling of each unit when you know the maximum demand, that is load demand. So here I am considering that this is the cost problem, and this cost is this method is used to find the real power generation for each plant, including in each unit including in the plant. So it is nothing but a total production cost as defined as the equation is minimum subject to constraint. So this is the equation we can use, that what is the cost of each plant for generating and scheduling for the particular load demand. Finally, the load demand can be equating these two. So these two equations are important to solve this PG1 and PG2 and so on PN. So these two equations are very important. You have to write that. So these are the two initial equations for solving that load scheduling. One is cost equation, another one is power demand, that is PD. So here CT is the total production cost. Suppose if it is 1, then you can write CT is equals to C1, that is cost of unit 1, C2, that is cost of unit 2, and C3, so on so on. So here individually C1 equation, C2 you have to calculate that. So finally the CT is a total cost of the generating station, and I is the number of plant, that is unit, and P is the total demand. Now how we can solve these equations for finding that PG1, PG2 and cost? Then there is one method we have to use. One is called as Lagrange multipliers, and this Lagrange multipliers shows that how we can relation get that between the total cost, total demand, and power from the each unit. So this is the equation we got from the Lagrange multipliers. Just note on this equation. L is equals to CT plus lambda into PD minus summation of I equals to 1 to N PI. So this is the equation we got from the Lagrange multipliers. So this is the approach we have to use for finding the scheduling. So initially these three equations are very important. Just note down, it is equation 1, 2 and 3. నోట్ చేసుకుంటారా మా ఈక్వేషన్స్ ని? Are we all noting down the equations?
సార్ అయిపోయింది.
Right. So here we have to consider two cases. What are the two cases means? First case 1, case 2. If you solve, so already we have the equation L, right? So L is equal to Ct plus lambda into Pd minus. So this equation we have to solve in two cases. In the case 1 is when this equation differentiate with respect to Pi and it is equal to 0, what you will get. At the same time, if this equation is differentiate with respect to the lambda and equation 0, what you will get. Just do this. So this is case 1 and case 2. See, if you use case 1, what you will get, I will tell you. Differentiate this equation with respect to Pi. So then you will get, what you will get means dou Ct divided by dou Pi plus lambda into 0 minus 1. So from this you will get dCt divided by dou Pi is equal to lambda. So this is the equation we got here. So this is the equation after solving this case 1. If you did this if this is differentiate this equation, you will get formula like this. Now see the case 2, that is dou L by dou lambda equals to 0. So when we differentiate this equation with respect to lambda, you will get it will becomes 0 and it will becomes 1. Then Pd minus this one is equals to 0. Finally Pd is equals to summation of Pi 1 to n. So finally we will get the equation Pd equals to summation of Pi. So this is the equation we obtained when solving the case 2. So by doing these two cases only, then you will get that equation formulas, final formulas. And here we have two formulas. One is that total cost of a generating station and second one is incremental cost. So already we discussed in previous class, lambda equals to dCt, that is total cost of plant divided by dPi. So this is the incremental cost. And this condition we have to use for optimum dispatch, load dispatch. So you have to remember that the first three equations, one is cost equation, another one is power demand equation, and third one is Lagrange multipliers. After that, the Lagrange multiplier should be solved in two cases. One is differentiate with respect to the Pi and second case is differentiate with respect to the lambda. If we solve these two cases, you will get these two equations. That is this one by case 1 and this one by case 2. Case 2 is Pd equals to summation of Pi. So these two equations we can apply by solving these two cases. Let me go for next slide. So this is the equation. See here. This is the equation we obtained by case 2 solvation. Now from this equation, so this is the incremental cost, right? So what is the equation of lambda? So actually the formula is cost is equals to Ca is equals to alpha I plus beta I Pgi plus gamma I Pgi square. If you want to incremental cost, you have to differentiate this equation with respect to Pi. Then you will get this equation, this one, lambda equals to 2 gamma beta I plus 2 gamma I Pi. From this equation, find the Pi value and lambda value. So that these two are final equations. Do you know how we got this equation? So equation మనం దీని నుంచి వస్తుంది. So how we can apply this equation from this? How you can apply this equation? By using this one. See here, this is the equation PI. So if it is a plan unit 1, you will write P1 is equals to lambda minus beta 1 divided by 2 gamma 1. So similarly for P2, for P3 like that. So finally I can write PD is equals to summation of PI, right? So instead of PI, substitute this equation here. So you will get like this. If you substitute here, PD is equals to summation of lambda minus beta I divided by 2 gamma I. While simplifying this equation, you will get lambda here. So that is the way of finding this value. So finally, we obtained two equations, that is this equation 1 and equation 2. So these are the two equations we are using to solve the load scheduling problem when they are given neglecting losses and no generator limits. So this formulas I will ask in slip test exam. So just keep remember the two formulas. Satish, note చేసుకున్నావా?
హలో సార్ చేసుకున్నా సార్.
Right. What about others? Yogananda,
సార్ చేసిన సార్.
Venkatesh, 202. Right. See, if you have any noise problems, just short the message. So let's go for the same method with including the generating limits. See here. So in this case, the economic dispatch neglecting losses and including generating limits. So what we did in last two problems, the first problem is there is no generating limits. We solved the problem. Second one is we have the generating limits. We solve the problem. The same method in this also. The first one is it doesn't have any generating limits, but here it has the generating limits. So how we can solve this when it has the generating limits? Let me see that. See here. Let's see this condition. Every generating unit has that. There is a certain limits. No unit has to be limits. Why? Because every unit has to be generate within the limits, that is minimum value and maximum value. It should not generate more than the maximum value and less than the minimum value. if it is did like this means its performance should be worst condition. So it requires some modifications and maintenance like that. So every generating unit has to be generate the power within the maximum and minimum limits only. Now, the generations are restricted lies in the minimum and maximum limits. The problem is to find the real power for each plant. So how we can calculate the plant means this is the problem we have to find that. So after finding this value, you have to check that whether it is within the limits or not. So by checking the minimum value and maximum value. So this equation, you know that is the total cost equation, and this is the power demand equation. So what we proceeded in the last derivation, same we have to proceed here also. See here. Here also we have to consider that Lagrange's condition. What is the Lagrange conditions means? Here we have three conditions. Lambda CA. So first of all, we have to find the lambda value. Then again we have to find this value. You have to check this condition. So if it is the final value is less than lambda, then you have to consider that power value is maximum value. So if it is greater than, we have to consider that minimum value. So this is the conditions you have to consider that whether the p value is within the, if it is within the limits, that is finalized. If it is not within the limits, then you have to consider like this parameters. If it is less than or equal to lambda, then you have to consider PA is equal to maximum value. If it is greater than lambda, you have to consider PA is equal to P minimum. Why? Because see here, as soon as any plant reaches a maximum or minimum value, the plant becomes pegged at the limit. Pegged, it is the meaning of, it means that it should be, it is not working properly. That is the meaning of pegged. And the plant output becomes a constant, and only the unviolated plants must operate at equal incremental cost. When it should be mal operating, we have to consider at a constant value. Then only we can schedule that remaining plants in equal incremental cost. So that is the way we have to consider generating limits for here. So every plant has to be considered as the generated limits. Then only we can finalize that what is the performance of each unit. If there is no generated limits, we can't able to say that whether the unit is working properly or not. So if it is generating, if it has the generated limits, then you can end by that whether the particular unit should generate the power within the limits or not. If it is not within the limits, you have to follow these three conditions. Just note on this condition. So in tomorrow class, we will do two problems based on this derivation. The one problem is based on neglecting losses and neglecting generated limits, and one problem is belongs to the neglecting losses and including generated limits. So in next class, we will do that two problems. So all of you have to notes and calculator with you for tomorrow classes. తేజస్విని నోట్ చేసుకుంటున్నావా అమ్మా? టూ నాట్ 5. నోట్ చేసుకున్నారా?
చేసుకుంటానా సార్.
సో దీని మెటీరియల్ మీకు ఆల్రెడీ సెండ్ చేశాను. జస్ట్ through on this material, then we will do the 2 problems based on the derivation. Then only we will get clarity on this. So if you are completed, I will stop the class. Right. So I'm going to end this class today now. Just keep notes and the calculator with you for tomorrow classes. Then we will do that 2 problems based on this neglecting losses, including limits and not including limits. Thank you.